Welcome to David Speaks TV. David Di Giorgio here, the unapologetic speaker, coach, leader. I don't know, I do all sorts of stuff, and I always love having amazing people with me. Today, I have the very interesting, extraordinary human that I met not too long ago, has become a great friend of mine, Niraj Mendis, a speaker, an author, and a coach. You can learn more about him at nirajmendis.com. Niraj, welcome. It's great to see you.
Thank you, David. It's so nice to see you. It's been so lovely to get to know you in the last, 8 months, 9 months it's been.
Yeah, time
Yeah,
flies, doesn't
very
it?
exciting.
And we just had that great connection, and through our connection with the community at Life on Fire and just our own connection offline, you decided to come on board and be a part of this big project over here, my Being Unapologetic book and the movement that we are launching. And as people know, those who have watched other of these interviews, I probably ask it 1,000 times in the book. So I'm going to ask you, what are you celebrating today?
Let's see, what am I celebrating? So, it's been a year since I left my corporate job. And I was in corporate for about 15 years. And about a year ago, I decided I need to really take a look at my life and see what's important. What am I really passionate about? And that was all about helping people and being service to people. And so I'm celebrating that I was able to, take that leap and jump into being a full-time entrepreneur. And I took 3 months off and traveled all around South Asia, climbed the Himalayan mountains. So I'm really celebrating the fact that I was able to jump and take that leap of faith that everything is going to be okay. So that's what I'm celebrating right
I love it. That is, and it is a scary big leap, which is actually apropos. So you are one of our unapologetic influencers in the soon to be released Being Unapologetic. Of course, depending when you're watching this video, it might already be released. And so we launch on August 22nd. You can pre-order your copy right now and get over $14,000 of bonuses. We'll talk more about that shortly too. Just visit beingunapologetic.com to get your limited edition signed and numbered copy. You are unafraid. So tell us, what does that mean to you, being unafraid?
now. Yeah, being unafraid, you know a little bit about my story. I grew up in the island of Sri Lanka where there was a brutal civil war. And fortunately, my parents decided to move to LA and give us a better life. And so, all through growing up, I thought that civil war that I was a part of is what really brought about the fear that I had. And through the process of studying yoga and meditation, I really understood that I had this inner civil war that was going on. And the fear that I was having was not the external fear that I experienced of war and hatred and violence and things like that. It was this inner critic that I had. And in order for me to overcome that fear, I had to be amazingly unafraid. And really, yoga and meditation really helped me do that. And I was able to travel to India and have some really amazing transformational experiences through the meditation practices. And through personal development, I was able to really become unafraid. And when you were talking about doing the unapologetic influencer, I was like, wow, this is so amazing. And I want to be a part of this because this has been my life, because fear has really ruled my life over the many years. And in the last decade or so, I was able to do a lot of personal transformation. And now I want to help people to bring that to, because fear is everywhere. You turn on the TV in your life, in your personal life, in your job, whatever there is, there's a lot of fear that we carry. And so I want to really help people get over that fear.
I love that. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to read a little excerpt of what you've written in the book. It's so beautiful. Speaking directly to what you actually just said, I grew up during a civil war in Sri Lanka, but I never suspected my fear and anxiety were not the result of that external war. Rather, it was an internal civil war I was fighting. We're all in a state of civil war with our inner critic, that voice that says, you can't do it. You're not good enough. You're a loser. Being unapologetic means silencing your inner critic, loving yourself unconditionally, and leading a transparent life. Beautiful words. I mean, every time I do one of these interviews and I talk to one of the influencers, I mean, I get chills just reading it. There's so much good stuff, and these unwords are so powerful.
Absolutely.
And it has been such a big blessing for me to read your stories and just see the journey of everybody coming along on this journey with me. So let me ask you, someone who's listening and might be afraid and like, I don't know if I can be unafraid. I mean, there are certain things that we're afraid of. I'm afraid of bungee jumping, for example. So what are the steps that you've discovered in your life and in your coaching practice with your clients? And I mean, you have such a beautiful, varied background. Your experiences are so wonderful. What are some of the steps you think for someone who's sort of on the edge and not sure about how to become unafraid? How do you coach someone through that?
Yeah. I think the main thing for being unafraid is self-love. And growing up, I was self-sabotaging myself in a lot of the things that I was doing. And, in my 30s is when I realized that I need to really treasure this body and this mind, right? And the reason why I was not having self-love was because of all the toxins that I was putting into my body, not only physical things, but also mental things, all the negative thoughts. And it's very important that you practice self-love. And self-love can be a good thought that you put into a good environment that you're into, getting a massage. I think that's what we have to do first, because if we're looking for external validation and external love, that's not going to happen unless you have that internal peace within inside of you. And of course, I've used meditation as a mode to get to there, but there's many different ways that you can do that. And as a coach, I want to help empower those people to really find what is inside of you. What is that beauty that's inside of you? What is the universe that's inside of you, right? Because the microcosm that's happening inside you needs to connect to the macrocosm. But until you connect to the microcosm that's inside of you, there's no way for you to connect to that universe. So I think being unafraid first is to, have self-love and then silence that inner critic, right? We all have it, whenever you try to do something new, when you're trying to jump into something new, it might be a new job, it might be becoming an entrepreneur, leaving your corporate job, right? There's that inner critic that says, you're not going to do it. You're not good enough kind of thing. But silence that inner critic, because that is an artificial construct, right? Fear is an artificial construct that we've created. And I know it's very hard to, when you're in the jar, when you're inside of that, it's very hard to see what's outside. But if you're able to talk to somebody and really understand that that is an artificial construct, you can every morning as the sun rises, you have a new opportunity, a new day to really create something beautiful, right? And so silencing that inner critic has been such a fundamental core thing in my life that had allowed me to do so many things and meet great people such as yourself, and just opportunities just start flooding into you. And it's just amazing how the universe works when you're open, when your heart is open. And I think when you're fearless, your heart is so open and you want to give, because in the process of giving and the process of being in service to people, that you will get so much more. But don't be attached to that return. Just give, selflessly give.
Oh my God, there's so much good stuff that you just said there. I could talk for 2 hours about it. It's just, you don't know this yet. Your feature, your story, what you share with us in the book is attached to a chapter called Acting Courageously.
Okay.
And I talk a lot about this. The whole journey of being unapologetic for me is truly about that empowerment and what is courage and where does it come from? And are you really going to let something you think, which is made up anyway, stop you from doing something or hold you back or make you wait, like in my own story, 33 years to come out to my biological parents? Like, why? It's crazy. And so I think being unafraid is such a powerful, and it's interesting because the story of being unafraid, how we came up with that, I didn't even have that as one of the words that I had suggested. I'm like, hey, here's one. And then you came to me and said, oh, unafraid, that's the one. I know is for sure. You had no hesitation.
Yeah.
And it's so perfect. It fits so perfectly in this whole journey, even of my own journey of becoming more unapologetically me and being unafraid to just be who I am. Because the minute that you be who you are, like you said, opportunities just start to flow to you, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. It's being transparent with every part of your life. Why hide,
Mhm.
right? We're born into this universe,
Mhm.
with nothing. And we're transparent as a baby. We're transparent. And through the course of life, we're layering things on. We're wearing the glasses. We're, wearing these uniforms. And it's all about taking it off and just being transparent and being who you are. And if people are going to judge you, that's fine. That's fine. That's their right. That's their opinion, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, this is your life and you're here for a reason. And once you figure out why you're here, everything just opens up. There's no room to fear for operate. Fear does not have a room to operate, you know?
Right. And when fear has no room to operate, all of a sudden you become unapologetic. And so,
That's,
what does being unapologetic mean to you?
I think being unapologetic is transparency. Uh,
Mm.
being who you are. It's just going through my life of secrecy and just living in a culture where you put your best self out there
Mm, mm.
is is living in an apologetic way. You're apologizing for who you are. You're trying to portray yourself of who you're not. You're trying to portray yourself an idealistic person. And to live up to that ideals, it's very hard, right? The standards are so high. And unless you live up to that standard, you feel like your community is going to judge you. But
Mhm.
if you operate outside of that and you say, this is who I am, and I'm very comfortable who I am, and I'm not going to apologize for who I am, because this is how my inner being, this is how my inner being wants to manifest itself, right? And that's what unapologetic means to me, is just living in transparency and being open to any opportunity that comes, and not being hatred towards anybody, there's
Mhm.
so much hatred in this world and judgment, and just being okay with other people having their own opinions.
Right. I love that. It really is a very Eastern view on what being unapologetic is. I love that. And that's because of I know your journey, your own background, but also your journey that you've had in India and what you've done in terms of uh, the study of holistic medicine
Yep.
and holistic being, right? I love that. It's interesting how everyone has a slightly different. I was talking to a friend recently and they said, oh, well, if you ask everybody that you're interviewing, like being unapologetic is going to be pretty much the same, isn't it? It's like, I don't know, let's find out. And so far it has always been there's a little shift. Everyone has their own flavor of being unapologetic. And that's one of the things that I celebrate in the book and why I wanted to have 18 influencers featured, because I'm not the be all end all of what being unapologetic is. Sure, I'm bringing the movement to life. I'm bringing this here to the world, right? But there are so many beautiful aspects of it. And so I just want to acknowledge you and say thank you for bringing a beautiful, shiny new aspect of what being unapologetic is and being unafraid to this whole movement and journey.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So Niraj, what are you most excited about these days? What are you up to?
So a few things. I'm also involved with another book that I'm a co-author in. It's called The Better Business Book, and that's going to be coming out in the next couple of months. And that's really focusing on this idea of holistic. And so, being in corporate, I was able to incorporate the idea of holistic leadership into my teams, and it has to do with bringing your own personality and your life
Mhm,
experiences to
mhm,
the practice of business. So through the course of 15 years, I developed these 10 principles of how to become a holistic leader. And I've used yogic practices, meditation practices, and I'm studying Ayurvedic medicine right now, where looking at disease from a holistic perspective and not only from a symptomatic perspective, right? And treating the person at an emotional level, physical level, and a spiritual level, and really truly understanding the person. And you can bring those principles to the business room as well. And you don't necessarily need to preach anything about it, but being in that presence is very important. So I'm very excited about having that book launch. I'm also launching my website, which is optimallifebalance.com, where you're really able to understand what is a balance. Because when we're born, is the start of when imbalance starts. So we always have to bring our body and mind into balance. And the practice of yoga and meditation and Ayurvedic medicine really help you some key tools to really bring forth the balance into the body and to the mind. And so disease will not manifest if there is balance in your body, if there's balance in your mind. So I'm really excited about starting to develop more content and doing group sessions in developing my website. That's hopefully start. And I'm also involved with some startups, conscious startups that are in the technology space as well as transforming energy and the media. And so super excited about those opportunities. So a lot of different things that I'm working on, but at the end of the day, I'm in service to everybody that I'm in contact with. And I'm always trying to see, how can I help this person to be a better person? How can I find this person to unlock their true potential?
And from my perspective, you're really being the epitome. You are living unafraid. You're saying yes to opportunity, yes to, I don't know, like, should I be an author? Can I be an author? I'm also in the Better Business book, and I was the one who brought that to you, right? And I said, you were like, I don't know, can I do this? What should I write about? And I said, I don't know, just figure it out. And it's so funny now hearing you like several months later saying, oh yeah, I've got my 10 practices of being a holistic leader. It's so beautiful and well thought out. So much good stuff. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's so true. You talk about balance. In fact, in the beginning of the book, I really talk a lot about what happens at the moment of birth and right before also. And you're right. It's abundance. It's pure balance. And so why does that have to change when we start to live out our lives here on this earth? So the book is coming out very soon, or depending when you're watching the video, it's already out, and you can get your copy at beingunapologetic.com. And if you get it during our special promo period before August 22nd, you can also opt in for over $14,000 of amazing bonuses. And Niraj, I know you are offering something very special. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the bonus, I'm very excited about that. And it's all about finding your true balance, unlocking your true balance, unlocking your true potential, I'm sorry. So the bonus is going to be actually a self-assessment where you'll be able to walk through of understanding what your health, wealth, and relationship, how balanced you are. And so you'll be able to get those results. And then we'll provide you with some simple lifestyle recommendations in order to bring your life into balance in those key areas of health, wealth, and relationship. So I'm so super excited about launching that bonus as you're launching your book.
I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait to do the assessment myself too. So parting words, what is the number one thing you want to tell people to start doing immediately after they watch this video to be more unapologetic and more unafraid in their life?
Yeah, find the one thing that you're able to connect to. It might be your inner self, right? For me, it has been the inner self. And to connect to your inner self is a critical thing. And so for you, it might be a great piece of music that will allow you to connect to your inner self. Because inner self has so much answers. Like we're looking for, we try to Google everything these days, right? And there's abundant amount of information and knowledge and wisdom online, but there is much more within inside of you. So don't try to seek the answers externally. Try to seek the answers that you're desiring internally. Because the more you go in, there's a universe of answers and abundance and positivity that will allow you to live an unafraid, fearless life.
Yeah, I love it. And if you do want to really take that journey, I call it the journey of discovery, to go in instead of looking out there to try to find your why, to look in for your who. Check out the book, Being Unapologetic. Not only will you get to read all sorts of amazing stories from all the amazing unapologetic influencers and the wisdom that I share, but also Niraj Mendis's amazing contribution. Truly, truly beautiful. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. I celebrate you every day. Beingunapologetic.com, get your copy. What are you waiting for? It is so, so good. And I'm not just saying it because I'm a little biased, but I'm just saying that, it really is a celebration of who you already are. You are already an influential speaker, a visionary leader. And when you unlock these tools and start to unleash your true self and you be unafraid and unapologetic, miracles really start to happen. So I can't wait for you to experience the book. Again, thank you so much, Niraj, for being on this journey with me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, David Speaks TV. That's David with an E, davidspeakstv.com. And we will see you for another amazing interview with another amazing unapologetic influencer. For now, I'm David. This is Niraj. And we're saying goodbye.